You might be asking yourself, why is this video review for freeze-dried meals almost an hour and a half long? Well, there are 75 meals, and in around a minute each, that time adds up. There's a summary at the end, and the video has been chaptered for your convenience. I have placed time codes and scores in the description. I hope you enjoy. Alright. Adventure meals, Mountain House, breakfast, Skillet, just the regular one. Pretty good. Let's see, slightly spongy eggs, which is fine. Nice and salty. The potato pieces are a little crunchy, which is kind of weird. Maybe they didn't hydrate properly. Meat's got a nice chew to it. Generally, flavor's good. Okay. Tonight's meal is yellow curry by Mountain House. It is hard to see inside, so you can't. But it is a little bit spicy and nice texture. I think there's chicken in there and rice and stuff. It's actually very, very good. It tastes almost just like what I would get at an Indian restaurant, which is kind of crazy. So, A+, keep eating. Tonight's food is Mountain House chicken teriyaki. Looks like this. It's not bad. Kind of sweet. A little bit of spicy in there, maybe pepper kind of spicy. Kind of tastes like frozen chicken teriyaki. I'm going to add some dark soy sauce to it that I brought along and see if that makes it any better. We'll see. Thought I'd try this setup. Car back there. Some Yaupon tea. Don't know if you can hear it or not, but in the background there's a stream going down. I'm waiting for my next mile meals to hydrate. Not bad. Alright, gonna try the next mile meals sausage scramble. I think I put in too much water, but I drained it off, so we'll see how it tastes. It's pretty good. The cheese kind of turned into one piece, so I had to break it up. I'm gonna add some Tabasco. Tell you what, not a bad breakfast. Cheers. Okay, quick video on this one. Next mile meals, Cajun style jambalaya. I think that I failed to properly hydrate it. Maybe I didn't put in enough liquid. Maybe the liquid wasn't hot enough. I don't know. That's what it looks like inside. The biggest problem with the hydration was the chunks of chicken, which were just these chonky, gigantic pieces that I think needed better water to rehydrate them or something. Flavor-wise, a little bit spicy. Decent, nothing like outstanding. It's just sort of okay. I think that the way that the pieces of veggie rehydrate versus the way that the meat rehydrates left like the veggie kind of dissolving in the liquid while the meat wasn't properly hydrated, so it was just a little bit strange. But there's this like I guess shreddy chickens. I don't know if maybe I'm feeling it wrong, but it seems to me like there's a sort of shreddy chicken, and then there's like chicken chunks. The shreddy chicken is awesome. That worked properly. So maybe they just need to have smaller chunks or more shreddy. I don't know. In any case, the thing about jambalaya is that it's really made to go with rice, so it's a little bit strange that there's no rice. And I think that it's got like potato in it or something to stay more keto. But it probably would have been better with rice. Anyways, there we go. Okay. This morning is Next Mile Meals steak omelet with green bell peppers. First question. Why do the eggs have soybean oil in them? What's up with that? And butter flavor? Weird, guys, just put in real butter. Anyways, here's what it looks like inside. Having this issue of rehydration where even though I thought I put in the right amount of water, I definitely put in too much because it didn't absorb everything. I had to pour it out. So once again, put a line on the inside. Come on, guys. Flavor's pretty good. Meat's nice. It's chewy. It's a lot like the other one, the other breakfast one, which was like meat with egg. And I think that it didn't have, and it had cheese, it didn't have the bell peppers. And it had a different name. So this one's like steak omelet, and that one was like a steak scramble. But they're basically the same thing because you can't have an omelet that's freeze-dried, I guess. Not really. In any case, so this suffers from the same issue that the other one did, which is lacking a little bit of piquancy. Like, it'd be great if this had some black pepper in it, which I don't think it does. Or if it does, yeah, it does have black pepper, so needs more black pepper. But maybe that's just my taste. So I'm going to add some Tabasco, see if that adds a little bit of better flavor to it. Otherwise, it's pretty good. It's just kind of like very center of the road. Yes, this is a steak omelet with green bell peppers. Nothing more. Alrighty. Meal by the fire, best kind of meal. We have Mountain House Beef Stroganoff with noodles. It looks like that, but it's really hard for you to see because of the light contrast. So there we go. It's super creamy, beefy. The noodles are nice and small, so I was concerned that it'd be hard to eat them with a spoon, but they're not too long, so spoon consumption is good. Another one of these instances where I wish I had like some black pepper that I could add to it because that'd be just extra strength awesome. But this is so far actually probably one of the better ones that I've had, so that is good stuff. I will happily eat this one again. Alright, for second dinner, Mountain House chili mac with beef. Looks like that. It's okay. It's kind of very standard chili. Like, it makes me think of the chili that you would get on top of like a hot dog at a hot dog place. So it's not bad. It's got a nice little spice to it. Whole beans. But it's just kind of typical. I don't know. It's the sort of thing that tastes kind of like it would be nostalgic if it was nostalgic for me, which it's not. So if you have eaten chili mac as a child, then this will probably hit the spot really well. But for me, it's just kind of okay. All right, breakfast this morning: Mountain House biscuits and gravy. Here's how it looks. Tastes like a pretty traditional biscuits and gravy, like you'd get at a like breakfast diner joint, which is pretty awesome. Nice and peppery, and even after hydration, some of the bread is still like a little bit crunchy, like it is in a biscuit, where it's like kind of dry on the inside, but then the outside's all soft and soggy from the gravy, which is really nice. I think I might have made it with a little bit too little water, because it does say that it takes 12 fluid ounces, and I didn't really check that until afterwards. The typical is, I think, 10. So it's very thick, which I guess not a big deal. Thick gravy's good. I have no idea how anyone could possibly call this 2 servings. This is like 1, maybe. But it's quite tasty. I would eat this one again. All right, this afternoon for lunch in my backyard, having beef stroganoff, Mountain House Pro Pack this time. Here's what it looks like. Very tasty. I think that the regular stroganoff was a little better, the non-Pro Pack version, but memory is just a little bit foggy. Environment was different, and I put in, I think, a little bit less water when I made that one. This one I actually measured, and I think that the amount that they call for is a little bit too much, so it's not quite as thick and creamy as it should be, but flavor's still spot on. And I love that in the back here you can see rosemary extract. That really adds some excellent flavor to it. So definitely liking their kind of stroganoff-like stuff, and we'll continue to enjoy that. Breakfast in the backyard this morning is Mountain House Spicy Southern Style Skillet. It has the consistency of tuna salad, and I like it. It's nice and spicy, but not just spicy. It looks like it's got multiple kinds of chilies in there. Arbol and Pekin. Very hearty and warming. I perfectly hydrated it, so that's even better. Just really solid. I like the complexity of flavor and texture in there. And I think that I would happily eat this one again for sure. Very good breakfast. All right, breakfast in the backyard. Today's meal is Next Mile Meals Deli Roast Beef. This one is one of 2 from the original Kickstarter. Old recipes and old pouches. That's what it looks like inside. See? Come on. Let's get it in the sun, maybe. There we go. Yeah. So it's dices of beef, which I was expecting deli like slices because of the deli name, but it came with packets of mayo and mustard. I did not use the mayo packet because it had a hole in it, and I did not use the mustard packet because I had better mustard in my fridge, so I just used QP and Coleman's mustard and put them in, and this is pretty good. It's got nice seasoning. You can see their seasoning choice here, and I like the little crunchy-ish pieces of where are they? Celery. And then the meat itself is pretty flavorful and chewy. Not bad. I don't think they sell this one anymore, but it was good. Lunch today, Mountain House, classic spaghetti with meat sauce. This is definitely a very classic spaghetti. Just a little bit of meat. It would be nice with a little bit more, but the tomato sauce rehydrated very, very well. It's unctuous, pretty rich. I personally like my marinara a little bit spicier, but it tastes better than, you know, something that you would just get out of a can at the dollar store. It tastes like proper canned marinara, and the little chunks of meat are decently flavorful. It's otherwise fairly what I would call standard. I don't know that I would get this one specifically in the future, but it doesn't disappoint. All right, tonight's dinner is Mountain House creamy macaroni and cheese. Looks like this. Very, very simple. just mac and cheese. Pretty creamy, pretty cheesy. It was surprisingly difficult to get it to rehydrate properly. I needed to add in a bit extra water and leave it a little longer. But it's still slightly chewy. But the flavor's fine. It's just really, really plain. I would have loved to have, I don't know, some pieces of meat in there or something. But, you know, it's kind of a fine blank slate to add other stuff to if you are doing that kind of a thing. So, don't know that I would get it again specifically, but it's fine eating it. Alright, tonight's dinner is Mountain House Pasta Primavera. Looks like that. It's nice. Creamy sauce, lightly crunchy vegetables, but, you know, still with good flavor. And the pasta is good. It's chewy, but not underdone. It tastes, I think, a little bit better than what I'm used to with, like, frozen pasta primavera that I recall from the past. I think that the freeze-drying process actually just leaves you with better flavors. So, this is pretty good. Chicken's not bad. I think this chicken, maybe it's the cauliflower. Does this have no meat in it? Well, I guess that says something for it. Either there's chicken in there, or I was just eating cauliflower and pretending it was chicken. But if it could do with a little bit more meatiness aside from that, I think I'd eat this again. Alright, lunch today is Next Mile Meals Buffalo Style Ranch Chicken. That's what it looks like. This one turned out pretty well. It's a little bit spicy. It's got that kind of creaminess, ranchy sort of creaminess. And the chicken rehydrated pretty darn well. There's some nice veggies in there as well, just for extra flavor. I like the balance of it. This one's probably one of the better Next Mile meals that I've had. I would probably eat this again. I think there's got to be some trick, though, to rehydrating the meat, because it's just the slightest bit chewy. And I think maybe it just needs to sit a lot longer than I'm letting it do so. Or maybe it needs to be stirred in the middle like the Mountain House meals tell you to do. So I'll probably try that for the next one. But this is pretty good. Alright, tonight's meal is Adventure Meals Mountain House. Lasagna with meat sauce. Looks like that inside. This is really good. Rehydrated perfectly. The sauce is thick and creamy and tomatoey. The meat pieces are a little small. I wish that they were bigger, but at the same time, I think that because they're small, is why they rehydrated so well. So I guess I don't know if I can win that way. Honestly, the only thing that I wish that I had more with this was some cheese to put on top, to melt on top. This is basically, I mean, flavor profile wise, this is as good as something that I would make at home. A+. Alright, today I'm trying Mountain House Scrambled Eggs with Bacon. It's eggs. The flavor's okay. The rehydration didn't work particularly well just because too much water. They don't absorb enough, so even with just the 8 ounces it calls for, it seems like there's no winning. Either they're not going to hydrate at all in some places, or it's going to be just soaked and you're going to have to pour off the water. Flavor's okay. I mean, you know, it's eggs, decently salted. There's bacon. Little tiny bits, though, so that's a little disappointing. I was hoping for larger pieces. I don't know why you would ever buy this, honestly. Everything else that they've got for breakfast is so much better that just get something that's actually a meal and not just this. I mean, if you want scrambled eggs and bacon, make it on a skillet over a fire. Don't get this. So, yeah, that's just how it is. Not gonna knock it, really. It's okay, but it's not worth purchasing. Alright, lunch today is the Mountain House Pro Pack version of the Chili Mac. Looks like this. I don't know if it's just my mood, but I think this actually tastes a little bit better than the regular version. I'm not entirely certain how. Maybe spicing. I recall the regular version felt a little bit bland to me. But with this one, there's the same issue that the last one had of the beans not really rehydrating completely. So I think that if I were making this in the future, I would recommend to put in just a little bit extra water and let it sit for longer than the instructions call for before eating it. Otherwise, yeah, it's chili on macaroni. I kind of wish that I had some kind of cheese to go on it so that it could be just a little bit more unctuous, but it's not bad. Tonight's meal, Mountain House beef stew. Looks like this. This is a nice stew. It's classic beef stew, just like it says on the packaging. It is hearty. Comes out nice and thick, and it's got all the right additions to it with the carrots and the peas and the potatoes and the pepperiness. It's got a good amount of pepper in it, so that's got that warming, eat it when it's cold out kind of a flavor to it. Feels very nourishing, and I think maybe could have a little bit more in terms of other spicing. Some of the other meals that Mountain House has have just the right amount of like rosemary and these kinds of spices in it, and I think this has some of those in there as well, but I think it could do with just a little bit more so you can really feel it. But this is tasty. Would eat again. Okay, tonight we've got Mountain House Pro Pack spaghetti with meat sauce. Looks like that. This is quite tasty. It's quite salty. Nice and meaty. Spaghetti is easy for the spoon to pick up, just like for the non-Pro Pack version, of course. I like the flavor in this one. It's kind of unctuous. I don't remember the spaghetti, the regular one, non-Pro Pack, terribly well, because it was a while ago that I had it, but I think that the Pro Pack one might be a little bit tastier, although portion size is possibly a little bit smaller. Maybe not. In any case, this is surprisingly good. I do wish I had a little bit of cheese put on it, but aside from that, pretty darn good. I would maybe buy this one again, actually, even though it's really simple. It's just straightforward tasty, even though it's not complicated. So, yeah, good stuff. Alright, dinner tonight. Next mile meals, chicken and broccoli casserole. It looks like that. This is not bad. It rehydrated pretty well, and it's nice and dense. It's got a little bit of that crunchy, little crunchiness from the broccoli, and I don't know if there's also some other veggie in there, but I think there is, and it's got nice kind of textural variation. Next Mile Meals, all their meat has this one particular flavor to it that I'm not entirely sure what it is, but it's quite distinct, and I'm not sure if I like it or not. So that's just kind of interesting to note. I think that this is probably one of the better ones that I've had from them, especially if they're kind of new set. So if you're looking for something to try from them and you're not sure which one to grab, this was not a bad one to go for. Alright, today's lunch, Next Mile Meals, Italian beef style marinara. No, Italian style beef marinara. Looks like that. This one's pretty tasty. Salty. Has nice spices in it. Beef flavor is good. Nice and strong. The cheese is delicious, but also makes the initial stirring sequence basically impossible. So I think that I would recommend not stirring it, but instead closing the bag and like massaging it to get it all integrated. I did that after the initial stir failure, and that seemed to work pretty well. They rehydrated properly. I think this is one of their tastier ones. I wish that it had something in it to make a thicker sauce. I'm not sure quite how that would be accomplished, but I think that having a bit of a sauce would be very beneficial to it and would make it an A-plus meal. So, not bad though. Today's lunch is Next Mile Meals beef tacos. It's like that. This is quite tasty. It is flavorful. The beef has good seasoning. Definitely got that Mexican style kind of taco-y flavor to it. It's got cheese in there, which is nice, but still it has that effect of when it rehydrates, it just glues everything together. So you have to not mix this with a spoon, but massage the bag instead. That works well. Gets everything rehydrated. It's got a little bit of veggie in there, some red pepper, red bell pepper, which is nice. Adds a little bit of extra texture and flavor. The only thing it needs is a little guacamole, a little sour cream. So this one's pretty good. I'd probably get this again. Alright, lunch today is chicken Alfredo pasta by Prime Refuel. Here's how it looks. This is really good. Full disclosure, I did give it a stir midway through, even though it calls to just fill it and leave it for 10 minutes. I gave it a proper stir at 5 minutes, like Mountain House does with theirs, because I think that that's actually the proper way to do it. I think that all of these freeze-dried companies should tell you to do that. The chicken did not all 100% get revitalized, but for the most part it did. This stuff is really cheesy, which is awesome. It's rich. The use of spices is quite nice, and the pasta is really fun. It's little twisty curlies that rehydrated perfectly, so they're super soft and tasty. This one I would definitely buy again. It's very good. Okay, second lunch for today. Blowbond, creamy pasta with chicken. Looks like this. All the way from the Northlands. This is really interesting just because of the package. I'm going to give you a quick look. So it gets flattened out. It's much squatter than the ones we get here. And hallelujah, it has fill lines. They know how to print fill lines on packages in Sweden or whatever. I think this is made in Sweden. Holy crap, that's insane. In terms of flavor, so it reconstituted very well. I wish that there was a little more chicken in it. Chicken is somewhat sparse. The flavor is like a very unctuous version of packaged like ramen noodle, chicken flavor ramen noodles, like almost like if you took a Campbell's chicken noodle, like a Campbell's chicken soup, the thick one, and you put noodles in it, add some spices and some chicken pieces, you would get this. So it's not bad by any means, but it's a little bit more I don't know, chicken, like dried chicken stock flavor-y than I'm used to coming from freeze-dried meals. I don't know if I would buy it again, but it's not bad, and I'll look forward to trying the other ones from this brand. Today's lunch, Peak Refuel beef pasta marinara. Looks like that. All right. This is pretty tasty. It has cheesiness in it, which is, I always have mixed feelings about cheese in these things because, one, tasty. I like cheese. But two, it clings to the spoon and makes it hard to clean. And it's kind of irritating. And I don't know that it adds quite enough to be worth that expense. Aside from that, nice and meaty. And I like the pasta. The spices are nice as well. I wish that the marinara sauce was a little bit more thick, a little bit thicker, a little bit more tomatoey. It's just a little bit light for my tastes, but in general, flavor profile is quite enjoyable, and I don't know if it would be my go-to, but I would not turn down eating this one again. Okay, lunch today is bleu-bond pasta with beef, tomato, and garlic. Here's how it looks. Can't say I like the noodles. They just lack texture. They're just kind of there. Very much like a ramen, kind of top ramen style packaged noodle. It is very tomatoey, really acidic. Not as much meat as I would like. They're like these really tiny pieces, which does rehydrate well. But it's almost hard to tell that you're eating them. A little bit spicy, which is nice. It's like super pungently flavorful, and I think it might be a little too much. I don't know if it's just too much salt in there or something. But it's like if you took a tomato soup can and added ramen noodles to it. Then you'd get this. It's a little strange. It's very, very potent. So far, that's been my experience with this brand, is this feeling of almost like you're eating something canned rather than rehydrated, which is a little strange. But at least the amounts of water they tell you to use seem to be pretty much perfect, so that's good. Gonna keep trying them and sort of see where it leads. Okay, lunch this day is Peak Refuel chicken pesto pasta. Looks like that. So this one definitely takes a little bit less water than the other ones do, so I think that I slightly overhydrated. It could use more pesto. I think if they had put maybe twice as much pesto in there, it would be even better. Flavor is pretty darn good, though, and I like the choice of noodle for this one. Lots of chunks of chicken. Pretty tasty. I don't know if it would be a go-to for me, but if they added more pesto, then it would definitely be a good contender for repurchase. Okay, tonight's meal is Beef Stroganoff by Peak Refuel. Looks like that. So, of course, I have to compare it to the Ultimate Stroganoff by Mountain House. It is not as good as Mountain House, in my opinion, but it is still quite good. I like the pasta, the rotini shape. The cream sauce is very thick and tasty. It is a little bit sour, which I didn't expect. And I think that it's maybe a little bit too much for me on that angle. But there's a lot of meat in there, and it's these nice, I don't know if you can see. Yeah, see nice chunks. So that's good. It reconstituted quite well. The sauce is very thick. It's pretty good. I would happily eat this again, although, like I said, not quite on Mountain House level. Okay, lunch today is bleu-bond Skinarmo's Pasta Carbonara. Looks like this. This one so far, I think the best I've had from bleu-bond before, so far. I like the different noodles. They are not al dente, they're really soft, but these kind of curly elbow style are much better in my opinion than what I've had. The other versions, which are the really thin, flat kind of cheap ramen noodle style. So these are better. It's got a nice cheesy sauce to it. A bunch of these little pieces of meat, which is nice. Again, really salty. I think that it would be nice with a little bit of more different kinds of seasoning, maybe some thyme or something like that. But it's not bad. and if I was gonna get Blobond again, then I would probably get this one. We'll see what the other ones are like, but not too bad. Dinner tonight. Mountain House. Homestyle chicken noodle casserole. Looks like that. All I can really think to say about this is, yep, that is chicken noodle casserole. It's like chicken noodle soup, but less soupy. It's good. It's chicken noodles. I don't know that I like the noodles. They're just those kind of flimsy, thin ones that don't really do it for me. So I would have preferred a different kind of noodle. But I guess they're also kind of classic in that sense. So, sure. Would I eat this again? Yeah, I'd eat this again. Maybe with some extra with some like hot sauce, some sriracha or something would be good addition. Would I buy it specifically? Maybe if I was eating, if I needed a whole bunch of these, I probably would buy it again. So, it's okay. Today's lunch is Homestyle Chicken and Rice by Peak Refuel. Looks like this. Very creamy. Got nice pepper spice to it. The rice rehydrated without being too soggy, which is really nice. Chicken chunks are well distributed. I like the texture of the carrot, which is kind of a funny thing to say, but it's just got a really good fresh texture to it. And the little mushrooms are nice. It looks exactly how it does on the package, which is pretty awesome. And I'd probably eat this one again. I actually wasn't expecting it to be so good. I've got a little bit of a stigma against chicken and rice style meals, I guess, from an experience previously. So I was a little trepidatious, but this is actually quite tasty, and I would probably buy it again. Okay, lunch today is Peak Refuel, sweet pork and rice. Looks like that. Really pretty. Very sweet. Pork rehydrated fantastically, and it's got a nice spice to it. I love all the different little beans and things in it. I think it needed a little bit more water than I gave it, because the beans, and I've had this problem with other dishes that have beans in them, is it seems like beans take a lot more to rehydrate than you would think. So they need to sit longer in the water to properly rehydrate. Otherwise, they're just a little bit crunchy, which isn't bad. I don't know if I like quite how sweet this is. It's really sweet, so that would make me hesitate. But if not for that, this would definitely be a buy again. It is pretty darn good. Okay, lunch today is the Peak Refuel breakfast skillet. Looks like this. You can see how it's watery. So this thing calls for 2 cups of water. Now, I don't measure when I fill these up. I just kind of fill it. But I think what I put in was about 2 cups, maybe a little bit less. And it's still pretty watery. It's almost soupy. But the potato starch makes it kind of thick. So I don't know what's up with that, because the sausage pieces remain a little bit crunchy. They didn't rehydrate perfectly, even though there's still water in there. So I don't know. Weird. Flavor-wise, quite nice. I like the textural variety. There's a good amount of black pepper in that, which I really like. I like black pepper, especially in breakfast meals. The ratios are pretty good. There's not too little meat or anything like that. Definitely on the good side of breakfast skillet style freeze-dried meals. I would not be sad to eat this one again, although I might put in less water and let it sit longer. Today's lunch is Indian chicken stew by Blobond. Looks like that. It's not bad. I think that it needed a little bit more water. The instructions have you fill it to the G-line, but then after stirring it, it reduces so much that I added more. And I think I probably could have added even a little bit more than this. This is pretty good. It's sweet. It's got a little bit of spice to it. A lot of like cumin flavor. And it's interesting in that in the ingredients it has some different things like apple, pineapple, some of these sort of fruitiness. So it's got this nice fruity kind of citrusy almost flavor to it, which is pretty good. It works well. I think that it could have a little bit more in terms of the size of the chicken pieces, which has been a bit of an issue with this particular brand, is the size of their meat and the amount of it. But aside from that, this is one of the better ones I've had from them, and I don't know that I wouldn't reject having it again. I don't know that I'd buy it specifically, this brand in general. It's just kind of alright, but I wouldn't say no to it. Alright, tonight's extra late dinner is Beef Chili Mac by, what is it? Peak Refuel. I really wish that they would keep the names on the tag up here, so when you open the package, the name's gone. Anyways, looks like this. Nah, it's okay. I have been, I don't know, I guess kind of disappointed in general by the whole beef chili mac ordeal. It's the same thing with Mountain House, and it's the same with these guys. It's just boring. Like, maybe if it was mac and cheese and chili, or I don't know, something like that. Maybe that would be better. Or maybe if it had a little bit of a white sauce or something, or a marinara even. This way it's just, there's something about beans that they really need sauciness, otherwise they're kind of bland. Unless they're really, really fresh or prepared really, really well. So, in this freeze-dried kind of circumstance, they're just bleh. I wouldn't order it again. I'm going to eat it. It's not bad per se. It is just lacking in character. It may be a little bit better than the one by Mountain House, actually, because there seem to be a kind of variety of beans in here. So at least the flavor profile of the beans is a little bit different. It's not just that kind of generic brown bean stuff. But yeah, I like the idea of beef chili mac, so I wish that a company would do it in a way that was actually really engaging, but have yet to find that yet. Today's lunch, pad thai with chicken by Mountain House. Looks like that. Sweet, a little spicy, pretty decent texture. The noodles, I think, maybe overhydrated a little bit, so that might be the harder part of getting this hydrated properly. But flavor-wise, it's pretty on point. Definitely pad thai. Not as flavorful as I maybe would have expected it to be, but still definitely sits in that happy range. If I wanted something a little different, I would not be unlikely to buy this one again. It's pretty darn tasty. Yeah, not bad. It's a lot of the adventure meals, the Mountain House stuff is more kind of American style or like Italian dishes, so it's kind of fun to have one that's an Asian style. It's pretty good. Tonight's second dinner, Mountain House chicken and mashed potato dinner. Looks like this. So this one was interesting. It came with the mashed potatoes in a separate pouch. So first you rehydrate the chicken, then you pour the potatoes, powder in, mix it, let it sit. I was a little concerned about not putting in enough water, but I think I got it right. Flavor is okay. I think it needs a little bit more spicing, like maybe some black pepper or something. I feel like I'm always saying that about these meals. They need black pepper. Maybe I just really like black pepper. In any case, it's not bad. It's a bit boring, and I definitely am not a fan of the texture of mashed potato like this. This is the kind of, I guess it's just reconstituted mashed potatoes, so I don't know what I was expecting, but it's the kind that you would buy at the store that's just in a powder. And I don't know, there's something about the texture that doesn't appeal to me. It's like this weird, smooth, but still somehow gritty quality. In any case, I will eat it, but I don't think that I will bother ordering this one again, personally. Second dinner tonight is bleu beef with potato and Béarnaise. Looks like this. It's supposed to look like that. So, pretty identical. That's pretty cool. I was concerned that I was putting in way too much water when I made this, but they gave the right instructions. It reconstituted pretty much correctly. Definitely should be called potato with beef and Béarnaise, because there is much more potato than there is beef, but there's a decent amount of beef. It's not terrible. I would like there to be a bit more, but that's been a continued kind of complaint about this particular brand. The flavor has something strange in it, like, I don't know, if clove maybe, that gives this sort of cooling effect. Not something that I would expect from this, so it has this extra almost fruitiness to it, which is really peculiar. It's not bad. Definitely one of the better ones that I've had from them. But overall, compared to everything else I've had, it's just sort of okay. But from this brand, definitely one of the better ones. Okay, today's lunch is bleu pasta Bolognese. Looks like this. This one's pretty tasty. It has a really, really rich, super tomatoey sauce. It's like intense tomato soupy. A little bit much in my opinion, but at least it's flavorful. It's not just tomato soupy flavor either. There's definitely some nice spices in there, so the flavor is complex, although it is a little bit overwhelmed by the tomato. This brand has the universe's smallest flecks of meat. They're just these teeny, teeny, tiny little nubbles you can see in the picture there. And it's just annoying. It's like, man, guys, put in some normal sized pieces of meat. It would just be so much more enjoyable texture-wise. And flavor-wise, you'd be able to really taste the meat instead of it just being kind of mixed in with the rest of the flavors and unidentifiable. But in any case, this is one of their less bad flavors. It's not terrible. I'll eat it fairly happily. Could use a little something extra though. I'm not entirely sure what, just besides larger meat pieces. I'll have to think about it, but yeah, it's okay. Today's lunch is bleu wilderness stew with rice. Looks like this. Ooh, foggy. It's got nice big chunks of meat. It's not too terribly salty. This is probably the best one I've had from this brand. Quite nice mix of flavors. Yeah, I think I would actually, this is one that I would actually be willing to buy again and eat again, I think. There's maybe one other one from this brand so far. This is pretty good. It's creamy, hearty, and I wish that it was a little bit more protein as opposed to carbs, but that's what you get with rice. Not bad at all. Lunch today is chicken teriyaki rice by Peak Refuel. That's what it looks like. A little bit watery. I think that the glaze or the sauce just didn't suck up much water. So even after rehydration, there's a little bit of liquid left in there, which is unfortunate. Quite sweet. Nice teriyaki flavor. I like the big chunks of carrot and bean. The chicken has a nice kind of a grilled texture to it. It's pretty fine. It's not amazing, but it's also not... It's actually better, I think, than the chicken teriyaki from Mountain House. It has a little bit more actual teriyaki flavor and tastes a little bit more like... I don't know, it kind of reminds me of the Ben's rice bowls that I used to get when I was younger. I think it actually probably tastes better than that, but that's the flavor profile that it reminds me of. So, not bad. I don't think that I would buy it specifically, just because there's other stuff that's so much better, but it will definitely be an enjoyable lunch nonetheless. Okay, second dinner tonight is bleu-bond pasta with cheese and broccoli. Looks like this. That is a lot of food. It seems like the meatless ones from this brand always have more in them. I guess it's easier to rehydrate or something. I don't know. But this isn't bad. I think that it maybe calls for a little bit more water than it actually needs. I would have liked it to be a little stronger flavor-wise, but it has that kind of a broccoli cheese soup flavor to it, but then it also has the pasta. I really wish they would stop using this particular kind of pasta. It's just so non-present. It's intangible. It's hardly there. It doesn't taste very interesting. So it just ends up being this weird texture mushy thing that could be so much better when the pasta from this same brand, when it's the like little rigatoni style, little curly ones, that's much better, so much tastier, and it holds the sauce well, and it has more bite to it. It's just better. So I would want them to use that for more of their foods. I don't know if I'm going to be able to finish this. It's a lot of food without enough, like really enough flavor to back it up. Okay, dinner tonight is Peak Refuel's new biscuits and sausage gravy. Looks like this. One thing that caught me by surprise is that, unlike other sausage and gravy, other biscuits and gravy packaged meals, this one does not have chunks of biscuit. It has 2 full, huge-ass biscuits in there, which is both cool and was concerning me in terms of reconstitution. They reconstituted fine in the end, although I think that because I was concerned about that, I ended up putting in a little bit too much water, so it's a little bit liquidy. Not quite as thick as I want it to be, but that's my fault, so I won't count it against them. It is nice and peppery. It took a bit longer to reconstitute just because of the piece of meat, actually. They were a little crunchy when I first tasted it, so I zipped it back up and let it sit a little longer. Ended up probably being closer to 15 minutes than 10. But it's creamy. The biscuits are well flavored. They're salty and buttery, and it just generally feels nice and balanced. I am quite pleased with this. I really like me some biscuits and gravy, and this one definitely, comes to the Call of Duty. It definitely works. It's good. I would pretty happily get this one again. Even though it's a weird dinner, it's still tasty. Okay, today's lunch is Packet Gourmet All American Works Burger. Looks like this. It comes with a whole bunch of packets. I don't know why everything is Kraft or Heinz except for the ketchup. They went to the trouble of getting different ketchup, but then not the other one, so it's kind of weird, but whatever. This package contains enough for 2 or even maybe 3 this size, and for reference. Or, if you had a big burrito, you could tortilla, you could probably make 1. The cheese you can see here, the instructions have you put it in afterwards, so it doesn't completely reconstitute, so it's a little bit crunchy, which is kind of strange, but it does keep it from completely disintegrating, like with some of them that have you reconstituted in the pouch with everything else. Flavor-wise, it's got a little bit of spice to it, and then all the condiments, and it's not bad. It's a lot of work. I don't know that if I was actually on the trail, I would really want to do all this with just messing with the packets, and then you have all this trash, and I guess you could put it in there like with everything else, but then these go bad more quickly than that does, and I don't know, it's just this whole deal. But flavor-wise, it kind of does the job. It's fine. I probably wouldn't buy it specifically again, but I wouldn't turn it down at a campsite. Lunch today, is Packet Gourmet Santa Fe corn pudding. Looks like this. Yes, I know it says it's a breakfast, but I don't really eat breakfast unless I'm out, so this is really good. It makes this very thick corn pudding. Probably could have added a little more water, made it a little bit less thick, but it's got a lot of good flavor in it. Really kind of, mouth is still watering. Juicy corn, a little bit of spice from the chilies, and the cornmeal has a very nice texture, kind of a farina-y, very breakfasty kind of feeling. Almost just feels good. Very tasty, very good flavor. Rehydrates wonderfully. This is a winner. I would happily purchase this one again. Okay, today's lunch is Packet Gourmet Curry Mango Chicken Salad. Looks like this. This is quite tasty. It's got a nice curry flavor, just a little bit of spice, juicy, rehydrated very well. It creates about 2 of this size of wrap. And for comparison, there's the spoon. It's nice that this uses cold water, so it's super easy to prepare. And it contains these mayo packets, which unfortunately means that it only lasts about a year in terms of before the packets go bad. So a lot of these Packet Gourmet dishes seem to have a shorter shelf life because they contain packaged liquid ingredients that have shorter shelf lives themselves, although the actual food, which is freeze-dried, should last much longer. So that is a downside to this brand. But flavor-wise, this was on point. I would happily eat it even just with a spoon out of the bag, but with the tortilla, it makes a nice little wrap. And I think I would happily eat this again. It's got all these little chunks. The chicken rehydrated well, so it's flavorful, it's juicy, and I would probably buy this one again. Yeah, it's quite good. Okay, tonight's second dinner, Shepherd's Cottage Pie by Packet Gourmet. Here's how it looks. I want to start off by saying how much of a pain in the ass this thing was to make. I'll show you. It just gets everywhere. It's got this beef flavor broth concentrate. Comes with this extra bag with the mashed potatoes in it. So you take out the bag of mashed potatoes, which is thoroughly coated in all sorts of dehydrated, freeze-dried powder. So it just gets absolutely everywhere. You have to fish out the oxygen absorbers from both packages, and then mix them together, pour water in both of them, let them both sit, and then finally recombine them. And it's just, if I was out on the trail, I would be so frustrated. It's kind of okay at home, but it ends up being really salty, and I think it's that beef flavor concentrate, which I don't know if it's just the fact that it's called beef flavor instead of beef concerns me. It's just really intense, almost beef ramen kind of flavor to it. And then the potatoes are all right, and the rest of it is pretty tasty, a little bit spicy. It's not bad in that sense, but between the difficulty of actually making it, the mess that it makes, and then how oversalted it is, I can't say I would want to buy this one again. Okay, today's lunch is Packet Gourmet's herb roasted turkey wrap. Looks like this, using a tortilla. This is quite nice. This is another one of their cold water rehydration ones. It's like a turkey salad. Quite nice. I would not be able to tell you that it's turkey rather than chicken. The flavor is pretty mild of the actual meat, but It's got a very nice like dressing. They say it's a garlic pepper dressing, and there's that little bit of garlickiness to it. Got the cranberries in there that have a nice chew, as well as imparting some good flavor. It comes with 2 packets of mayonnaise that you use to make it with, which means, unfortunately, that the shelf life of this is only going to be around a year. But it would be great out on the trail to be able to make it. It takes about 15 minutes total to produce. Only downside is going to be the extra waste, but that can go back in the bag, so it doesn't take a lot of extra space. And it makes 2 wraps this size, so it is sufficient to kind of be an actual lunch. Really good. I would definitely eat this one again. So far, all of their cold water ones are totally worth it. If only they didn't need the mayonnaise, so they could last longer. But it imparts so much extra unctuousness to it that I don't know that they could manage without it, unless there was some way to dehydrate the mayonnaise. Which maybe might be possible. Freeze-dried mayonnaise, and just rehydrate it. In any case, very tasty. Would eat it again. Okay, dessert tonight. Packet Gourmet Mom's Banana Pudding. Looks like that. Rehydrates with cold water. Not too sweet, I'm pleased. I was concerned this might be just like insanely sugary, but it's not. It's pleasant. Has a nice banana flavor, fairly good texture. Even with the rehydration, the carb chunks maintain crispiness, which is a nice contrast to the pudding being like soft and creamy. Not as good as like packaged banana pudding that you might get fresh, but definitely as good as something that you would get in like a powder form and would make. Maybe even better because it's got little crunchy pieces in it. So yeah, good stuff. Doesn't take a lot of water. Pretty tasty. Kind of fun to have a dessert. And I don't know that I would buy it again specifically, but if I was wanting to have a dessert to bring with me on a trip, then it would definitely be one that I would consider. Dessert tonight, Packet Gourmet Boston Cream Parfait. Looks like this. So flavor-wise, it's a bit sweet, although I think that might be the chocolate mostly. Otherwise, the flavor is all right. Creamy. Got the kind of crunchy bits in there from the, what does it call them? Sweet cake croutons. It's got, definitely you can feel texturally and you can taste the coconut shreds. I did not heat up the chocolate sauce because that's a pain in the ass and a waste of water. But it would be basically the same. It's, even though it's cold, it's just really sweet, kind of fake chocolate syrup, which is unfortunate. I get that that's kind of what is in a Boston cream parfait, but I don't know, it can do without it, I suppose, or maybe like some whipped cream or something instead. I don't know how they would manage that, but it's all right. The banana pudding was much, much, much better than this is, so if I was going to get a dessert, I think that I would tend towards that. Dinner tonight, Packet Gourmet Poblano Corn Chowder. Looks like that. It's nice and thick the way I prepared it, of course, because you get to decide the amount of water. You could make it thinner, but I like thick chowder. It's got very nice flavor, really sweet corn, a little bit of spice from the chili, and the chicken stock definitely adds a lot of flavor to it as well. I so wish that there were like actual pieces of chicken in there. That would be amazing. But even without it, quite scrumptious. Trying to think what I would add, but it's pretty much great the way it is. Just a little bit of that chicken would be perfect, but I would certainly eat this one again. It's got that kind of full flavor. It doesn't seem like there's something really glaringly missing. It's not too salty or anything like that. So this is a good one. Dinner tonight, Packet Gourmet Dottie's Chicken and Dumplings. Looks like this. Focus. Yeah. So, not bad. First blush, nice pieces of chicken. The dumplings are like dumpling wrapper, actually, not full dumplings. Nice selection of veggies in there. Pretty good flavor. It has a concentrate, what's it called, like a broth concentrate. That is just too salty. I don't know if I should have added more water to make it really brothy, because this kind of turned into almost like a chicken pot pie kind of a deal. Maybe could have been like an actual soup. But I've had this problem with some of their other ones as well, that they've got like the beef broth or the chicken broth that's concentrated and it's a liquid instead of being powdered, and it just ends up being really pungent and not in a good way. So I think that if this didn't have that, the concentrate, if it was just regular freeze-dried, then this would actually be really good. So I'm a little bit disappointed, because with that piece, I'm not sure that I would necessarily purchase it again. But I'll eat it and it'll be fine. I don't know that it will be a go-to, as they have other dishes that are superior. Today's lunch, Packet Gourmet Cajun Ranch Chicken Salad. Looks like this. Like their other salads, nice and juicy, well hydrated, lots of different little bits and pieces in it. Celery chives, cranberries, ranchy. Cajun is a little spicy, which is lovely. Makes 2 of these size wraps. Can be a bit messy because it is so juicy. I actually probably would use a slightly larger wrap. These ones are not burrito wraps, they're like soft taco wraps, and they're a little too small. So next time, burrito wraps, but quite good. Like the cold water preparation, and so far all of their salads have been great. Would definitely buy again. Lunch today, Packet Gourmet Southwest Corn and Black Bean Salad. Looks like this. This is pretty tasty. I like the crunchiness of the toppings that they kept in there. And it's got some good spice. They use Cholula hot sauce, which is a good hot sauce. Pretty balanced flavor. Not too sweet with the corn. But still complex. Crazy that if you use cold water, it has to sit for 60 minutes. I used hot water, so I didn't have to wait that long. But that could be something, you prepare and then keep walking, or I guess just sit around and wait. But you got to think ahead of time if you're out on the trail. I do wish that there was some kind of meat in there, just because for lunch, not having any meat, not so great, but it is pretty tasty. I would probably consider it more of a snack. Nonetheless, so far, I mean, like I've said before, these guys, their salads are just great. So, would I buy it again? Possibly. I don't know. I think their other salads with the chicken in them are a little bit more lunch-y, but this makes a great accompaniment to something else, so it could be worth purchasing again. Breakfast for dinner tonight, Packet Gourmet West Memphis Grits Souffle. Looks like this. It was pretty simple. Tasty. I like grits, and these are decent grits. I like the different, let's see what it says here, chilies, shallots, cheddar cheese, cheddar jack. Yeah, it's nice. You can taste all the flavors separately. I like a little bit of spice from the peppers. This would have been extra amazing with, like, I don't know, chicken in it, or pork maybe. But as it is, it's pretty darn tasty, and I think that I would probably enjoy having it again as like a quick breakfast kind of a thing out on the trail. Nice and simple. Lunch today, Peak Refuels Chicken Coconut Curry. Looks like that. A little different than the front. I didn't put in as much water as I guess they wanted you to. Tasty though, sweet, with the carrots, and a bunch of different flavors happening in there. A little bit spicy, just a little bit. I would have liked it a little spicier myself, but that's personal preference. Chicken rehydrated nicely. This is a good one. I would buy this one again. I like how different it is from other stuff on the market, and how complex the flavor profile is. And I like that you can kind of have it 2 ways. You can have it soupier, or you can have it like this, almost like a fried rice style. and it's going to be good both ways. So this is a pretty darn successful one in my opinion. It's a newer one, and I think that they did well. Lunch today, packet gourmet polenta with pork sausage. It looks like this. This isn't quite tasty, a little bit spicy. Got that polenta gritsy kind of thing that I do like quite a bit. Garlic is definitely in there. I don't think I really noticed the cheese, but I guess it blends together nicely. Little pork bits, which there are a good number of. Doesn't feel like they went shy on the pork bits. I would eat this again. I would buy this again. Makes for a good lunch. Makes for a good breakfast. And it's got sufficient interesting flavor to it that eating it more than just once wouldn't feel repetitive. So, thumbs up. Dinner tonight is packet gourmet Tuscan beef stew and Italian polenta. Looks like that. First, the good. Bunch of different little veggies. Nice big pieces of meat. The polenta is tasty. I like all their polenta. All of their grits and polenta and that kind of stuff that I've had from this company have been really great. So this would be a good dish, but there are a couple of things that really make it fall behind. One is that it's got that beef broth concentrate that they have in some of their dishes that is just horrendous. It's really salty. It tastes fake, even though I think it's not. But maybe it is. It may have some beef flavoring in it. And it's just bad. It's like super salty and intense. And even when it's diluted in the dish, it doesn't stop being intense, which is really disconcerting. And then the whole having two bags and you make two separate dishes and then combine them with each other thing. It's a great idea in theory, but in reality, it just ends up being really messy because the interior bag holds on to statics up and holds on to like just a shit ton of powder from the dish, from the main dish. So it ends up getting everywhere, and then that flavor doesn't get into the dish, so you're wasting food. It just sucks. It's bad. It makes the dish interesting because you've got two different things that kind of go together, but I just feel like it's not worth the hassle and heartbreak. So unfortunately, even though I like the idea, I can't get behind the execution. So would I buy this again? Probably not. Really, I wish that they would stop using that beef broth concentrate. It is atrocious, and there are other ways to get beefy flavor in there. Even just powdered beef broth would probably be fantastic. So that's how that is. Tonight's dinner is packet gourmet ramen rescue with chicken. This is what it looks like, I guess. Hard to say much about this because it's really just some like extra toppings and then you add your own ramen to it. So it could literally taste like anything. There are tiny little bits of chicken in there. I wish that they were bigger, but I know that they made them small so that because it only takes 5 minutes for the ramen to be ready, and they didn't want you to have to wait the regular 10 to 15 minutes for the chicken to saturate. So I don't know that I would bother buying this again. It doesn't add that much, and ramen is fine as it is. Tonight's dinner, packet gourmet Texas mesquite chicken salad. Looks like this. Yes, it says lunch. I'm having it for dinner. Pretty nice. Good like all of their salads. Easy to make. Juicy. Pepper cream dressing, it says. Don't taste any of the tart apples, but I guess they're in there. Can definitely taste the mesquite smoke, which honestly is not my favorite. I don't like. It tastes like liquid smoke, and I do not like liquid smoke. But aside from that, it's pretty tasty. It's creamy, which I like. I think I'm going to add a little bit of spice to it. That will hopefully cover the smoke flavor and make it even better. But I'm just having it by itself this time, not wrapped up in anything. I think it would equally do well in a wrap, though. So yeah. Would I buy it again? Probably not, just because the other salads are so good. and that I don't particularly like the smoke flavor, but for someone who does like smoke flavor, in liquid smoke flavor specifically, this would probably be a favorite. Lunch today is Peak Refuel Butternut Dal Bhat. Looks like this. It's pretty tasty. It's very salty, which I wish it was a little less salty, but it's buttery, it's savory, it's got some sweetness to it, probably from the squash. I'm not sure what to say about it, really. It's pretty tasty, but also it needs something else with it. Maybe if I was eating it with some naan or something, it'd be really good. But just sort of by itself, it's missing something just a little bit. So it could be a good side, or if it is a meal, then to have it with something else on the side as well, just to bolster the mealness of it all. Alright, lunch today is Packet Gourmet Cake and Chicken Hot Wings Wrap. As you can see, I'm just eating it out of the bag. And it's fine like that. This is pretty tasty. It's a cold soak like all their other salads are. And once again, good salad. I think I could have let it soak just a little bit longer, make it even softer. But it is a little bit spicy. Got the mayo in it, of course, so it's creamy. And it's chicken. And I like what's it say it has in there? Onion, celery, carrots. So not a lot of extra stuff, but it's just enough to add texture to it and make it enjoyable to eat. I think that I could pretty happily have an entire expedition worth of just these cold soak ones and not need to cook anything. Be perfectly happy, which is great. Lunch today is Peak Refuel 3 Bean Chili Mac. Looks like this. Same as their other chili mac, just with beans and no meat. Flavor is okay, a little sweet, a little bit of spice, lots of bean, a little bit of other vegetable stuff going on. Feels a little bit bland to me. Maybe it's just me missing the meat, but the complexity isn't there. I don't know that I would get this one again. It's gonna be okay eating it, but there's so much better stuff out there, so it's okay. Not so great. Tonight's dinner is Packet Gourmet Bacon Burrito with fajita chicken. Looks like this. It's basically a salad. As you can see, I'm having it in the pouch here. I do have tortilla, but I'm lazy, and so I'm just having it separately. It's not bad. I like the mixture of beans and corn, and the cheese all kind of glommed up onto the spoon, so it didn't spread around well enough, which seems to be a problem with these. Spice level's nice with the Cholula, and I don't know, it's just okay. The chicken didn't seem to rehydrate quite as well as I expected it to for some reason, but flavor-wise, I can't help but think that it really is just a salad, and so as a salad, it's fine, but as an actual full meal, I don't know. There's other ones that I think I would prefer. Lunch today is Blobond Thai chicken with rice and vegetables. Looks like this. Steamy. I guess I accidentally added a little too much water, because you can see how dry it's supposed to be. It ended up a little bit soupy, which is funny because I used the fill line, but I guess I overfilled a little bit. That's okay. It's fine as a little bit soupy. Definitely one of the better ones from this company. A little bit of spice, nice kind of curry-y flavor. Tastes like it's got coconut milk in it. Little chunks of chicken. I do wish the chicken pieces were a little bigger. That's a consistent remark with this company, is the size of the meats are a little small, but like the variety of vegetables, fairly good combination of different textures. So it's good. This is one that I would probably get again from this brand if I was getting stuff from this brand again. Okay, today's lunch is Packet Gourmet Deli-Smoked Roast Beef Wrap. I've actually got it all wrapped up here. That's how it looks. This is okay. It's got some of that kind of, I don't know, fake smoke flavor to it, which I don't really like. But nice big chunks of meat and a nice selection of little veggie pieces in there. It's got mayo and mustard, which is a nice combination, and makes a pretty decently sized little burrito here. So, I don't know. I wouldn't be mad about eating it again. I don't know that I'd buy it specifically, but it's not bad. Tonight's dinner is Elk Ragu Pasta by Peak Refuel. Looks like this. Yeah. Not bad. This is one of those ones where the front really suggests a whole lot more or less tomato. It's very tomatoey, you can see just how tomatoey it is. Which surprises me because the tomato is a little bit astringent. It's could use something else. I feel like there's not enough, maybe not enough vegetable in there. It needs something to combat the acidity of the tomato in the sauce. But aside from that, the flavor is pretty darn good. I like the noodle shape. They hold the sauce well. And elk is nice. It's something a little different. So, yeah, would I purchase it again? Maybe. Might be nice, something for a change of pace. Yeah. Today's lunch is Stowaway Gourmet's Las Pollos Hermanas. Looks like this. Focus. Very tasty. Nice big chunks of chicken, slightly spicy and unctuous broth. It seemed like maybe the amount of water was going to be too much, but it ended up being perfect. The tall container makes for somewhat strange eating, but not terrible. Very deep flavor. I'm duly impressed. Looking forward to continuing eating it. And if the rest of them are this good, then I'll be very happy. Today's lunch, Stowaway Gourmet, La Pasta Nostra. Looks like this. Very tasty. Lots of mushrooms, some nice spice to it. I think it's pepper spice, black pepper. Rich sauce, very flavorful. The cheeses always cause a little bit of an issue with these things because they basically end up glomming onto the spoon. But there's still some in the bag, so it's definitely still enjoyable. So far, this company has been fantastic. Just really high quality, good flavors. It tastes like, something that you would just eat at home. It doesn't taste like freeze-dried food. I still find the bag shape a little bit strange. It just makes it kind of harder. But thankfully, long-handled spoon, so that's not a big deal. A+. Tonight's dinner, Peak Refuel Bison Ranch Mashers. Looks like this. First note, you'll see how green that is compared to the shocking white on the front in the picture. So, obviously they did not take a picture of the actual product, which is annoying. It's not bad. It's really strange, though. The ranch is sour, so it's like sour mashed potatoes, and then there's little pieces of meat in it. It's not bad, but it's just bizarre. It's not really the sort of food I guess I'm used to eating, so I suppose I'll enjoy it, but I don't know that I would get this particular one again. Lunch today, Stowaway Gourmet, Comrade Doeganoff, I guess. It's a venison stroganoff. Looks like this. Nice big chunks of venison. Sauce is good. I think maybe I put in a little too much water, so it's not as creamy as I expected it to be, but flavor is on point. A little bit of spiciness, not like really spicy, but more nice black pepper spicy. Nice complexity to the flavor. A lot of that's from the venison, I think. And nice mushrooms. Just really good. I do wish that the sauce was a little bit thicker, but again, that might be my fault. So, would definitely eat again. Tonight's dinner, stowaway gourmet Thai curry with shrimp. Looks like that. This is really good. All of Stowaway has been really, really good. Really pungent shrimp. The sauce is sweet. It's not a spicy curry. There's a lot of different flavors, lots of different spices going on, and the shrimp matches really well with the coconut, and the other vegetables add great distinction to the flavors. The textures are nice. It's not all just like mushy or single texture. There's a lot of variation in it. So just another good one. Great company. Today's lunch is Stowaway Gourmet Bison Beer Black Bean Chili. Too bad there's no word for chili that starts with a B, because that would be even better. This is what it looks like. It is tasty, like all the other Stowaway Gourmet items. Nice big chunks of meat. It's got a deep flavor. It's maybe a touch salty for my particular taste. But it's thick, it's unctuous, there's complexity there. It's not got that kind of watery bean taste that some chilies I've had have, especially the reconstituted ones. It's got the right texture for a chili. It's nice and thick. The amount of water they tell you to use is perfect, so it's not just one giant clump, but it's also not soupy. This is a good one. Another good one. Whew! Congratulations for making it through the whole video, if you did, or maybe you skipped here to get the summary. Either way is fine. You may have noticed throughout the video that I failed to give any actual number scores. That was an oversight for sure. Maybe I'll manage something better next time. In any case, I've decided to give titles to the brands instead, because it's fun. So, here we have Mountain House, the King. These guys are the undisputed champions of camp meals, and for good reason. Most of their offerings are super solid. Next Mile Meals, the Ketonic. If you're keto, this brand has your back. Their foods are hit or miss, but some of them really do shine. Unfortunately for my tasting, some of the best ones are no longer available. Maybe the future will be brighter. Peak Refuel, the Hunter. Their whole brand seems geared towards the hunter and the blind, that bit. They have a lot of hearty, meaty meals that tend to be good, so don't hesitate to grab some. Blåband, the Excessive. The only one from Europe in this review. I'd love to try more. They are also the only ones to have fill lines inside the packaging, so that's appreciated. Their flavors tended to be either too bland or too extreme, but some were better than others, and they made a ton of food. They were big packages. Packet Gourmet, the Salad. These cold soak salads were fantastic and definitely worth purchasing. Some of their other offerings hit the mark, some didn't. Their biggest downfall is the heavy reliance on packaged condiments, which will go bad before the meal itself would normally, but still worth purchasing, I think, especially the salads. And Stowaway Gourmet is the Thearch. If Mountain House is the king, then Stowaway Gourmet is the Thearch. Their dishes could be sent out in a restaurant, and nobody would notice, I kid you not. Absolutely incredible, but that price tag does come with a price tag, so if you can afford a treat and they're in stock, then definitely order a few. And there you have it. I have a lot more brands on the menu for the future, and I may even revisit some of these brands that I did in this video to give them real scored reviews. So let me know, was there anything I missed that you were hoping to see? And what's your favorite brand for freeze-dried meals? Leave a comment below. I'll read them all. And until next time, bye.